Superman Returns taught all the wrong lessons to Warner Brothers, or at least they learned all the wrong lessons from Superman Returns. Because look, Superman Returns, it was a very expensive film. It was a very risky proposition, and it had a lot working against it, and it ultimately didn't connect. It had a decent Rotten Tomatoes score of around 72%. It was considered fresh. And for fans like me who had just been waiting forever to see a Superman that they loved and recognized and were hoping to see with regularity again, for people like me, we saw it as a decent start, but we were also hoping, hopefully this gets better with part 2. And, I saw what Bryan Singer did from X-Men 1 to X-Men 2. So hopefully Superman will level up similarly. But it didn't exactly blow anyone away. It wasn't an instant classic. And box office wise, it didn't even hit 400 million. At a time when the Spider-Man movies were making much more than that, at a time when the X-Men movies were finding great success over for Fox, at a time when the Pirates of the Caribbean movies were making an insane amount of dough, Warner Brothers thought bringing back Superman, this is going to bring us right to that top level. We're going to have a top level franchise making that sick money again. And look, we're going to build it on top of the Christopher Reeve legacy. We're going to treat this like this is Superman 5, and it's going to have the familiar music, and we're going to get Marlon Brando back in there, and we're going to literally just reignite everyone's old love for Christopher Reeve, and this is going to work. And it didn't end up working, And when I say that the studio learned the wrong lessons, it was that for some reason they looked at Superman Returns and decided that its failure somehow meant that audiences were no longer interested in a traditional Superman. They interpreted this as, well, see, the Reeves Superman wouldn't fly in today's society. Now this is a world post 9/11 where what people really want are hard-hitting, gritty, relatable characters. That's why Batman Begins is what we're going to really be investing in from now on. And Superman Returns, we're going to throw that out and reboot. Warner Brothers really got it into their heads that Superman is outdated and boring and a Boy Scout, and he needs to be reinvented for modern audiences. That's what they took away from Superman Returns as failure. And it's, to me, like, the reason that misses the mark is that Superman Returns didn't really present a classic Superman. It may have been trying to ape the Christopher Reeve movies. It may have copied whole bullet points of the plot of the first movie. It may echo and call to mind lots of fun moments from the other movies. But if you go back and watch Superman Returns, it doesn't have much of that sense of wonder. It doesn't have much of the actual charm and joy of Superman in it. It's actually a rather sad, lonely movie about a Superman who was so desperate to feel connected to something that he abandoned Earth and abandoned the woman he loves for 5 years, and then comes back and finds that she's moved on and she has a son with seemingly another man, and the world is still messed up and needing him all the time, and he's still alone at the end of it all. And it's a very kind of gloomy movie. It wasn't a classic, uplifting Superman tale at all. And yet, the takeaway seemed to be, no, we need to just reinvent Superman somehow. We need to make him more tough and more of an action hero, and people want to see him punch stuff. People want to see two gods flying over a city blowing stuff up. No more of this classic good guy trying to save cats out of trees Superman. We need a big, tough, awesome, badass action hero Superman. And that was the wrong lesson they learned, because it seemed to be the primary way that they approached rebooting the property. And it might be why they were so happy to bring Zack Snyder on board. And they knew he was going to bring the epic action. He was going to bring that larger than life comic book visual element to all this. And he's going to make us care. And on the top of that, we have Christopher Nolan and David Goyer writing it. So this is going to be the movie that's going to give us all of that Batman grit and character development. Everything that the Dark Knight trilogy did for Batman, this is going to do for Superman, and Zack Snyder's going to be there to make it look amazing. What could go wrong? And, well, we're going to get to how this could all go wrong. But that was point one. Point one was just right out of the gate. Henry Cavill's run as Superman was being informed by flimsy logic. Right out of the gate, they wanted to make a Superman that was like reinventing the character, and they were totally not realizing that what didn't work with Superman Returns was that also it was mopey and lonely and kind of a miserable ride. They totally missed that and just thought, we need action heroes Superman now.